I say that continuously on this tour today, so I can try to ignore it as much as I can. Well, that building in the 1930s had no AC, guys. Imagine how it felt on the inside of the building. Don't worry, build a setback in the middle of your building to let cool air naturally flow through your building for cross ventilation, all in the Civic Opera building behind you now. Let's stay focused towards the right side of the vessel. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. And Ludwig Mies van der Rohe is one of the most influential architects here in the city of Chicago. He didn't do anything crazy. Well, in theory, because he designed a building in what is called the International Style of Architecture. How can you see International Style of Architecture? Simple. It can fit anywhere in the world. It'll just fit in. He ultimately said less is more. What's on the inside is realistically more important. You can apply that to your own moral values. But he also influenced two men named Bruce Graham and Dr. Fazlur Khan, who designed the next building on this tour with these black X bracings, which means all the structural integrity on the outside, so you can put less stuff on the inside, less pillars on the inside. So what did they decide to put in this really awesome structural integral building? A gym.
The red
You're taking it so easy here in the city of Chicago, you're never gonna get lost. You're also taking it so easy here in the city of Chicago that even if you've never been to our city once in your life, you might have actually seen the next building on this tour. So look to the right if you're interested. Because if you've ever watched the 2008 film The Dark Knight, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the Gotham City Bank, or the building that the Joker broke out of in the beginning of the film. I got some bad news for you, Batman fans. The Joker was not here to steal money. He was actually here to steal 35 million envelopes. And that's because that's the exact number that was going out of our old post office daily in its prime. Why? Well, we had 35 million envelopes going out of our city daily because we had Aaron Montgomery Ward, J.C. Penney, Sears Roebuck, all based out of our city. We didn't do anymore. However, if you do work for Uber, Walgreens, Ferrera, the Candy Company, PepsiCo, any of those companies, you might actually be based in the old post office because they got some of the best offices in the city of Chicago, some of the best places to work. Because on top up there, they got rooftop gardens, basketball court, a running track, even for some reason, a court for sports that a few people a few years older than me like to play. What's that sport? Notice how we all knew it was pickleball courts, all on top of the old coal plant. But as I mentioned, don't worry, if you don't need to ship anything out, you should be good. What if you do need to ship something out here in the city of Chicago though? Take a quick look around. Where are you gonna do it at? Right next door, my friends. We're taking it easy. Let me tell you something about a USPS. Surely I've got to make it interesting, right? United States Postal Service, designed in the 1990s by Knight Architects. Is that interesting? Probably not. One of the world's longest conveyor belts here on the right side of the vessel. All those columns clad in a color called postal yellow. At least that's what an art teacher told me once. On the inside, though, something else you might not expect. On the inside of our new or current post office, still there to this day, in active use, is a 1-acre ballroom. Wow. A ballroom on the inside of a post office? Why? We didn't know either. So, here in the 1990s, we here at Wendella sent an email to Knight Architects that said something along the lines of, hey, why did you put a ballroom on the inside of your post office? That's kind of weird. And here's what they said in return. Just in case anybody wants to get married, I'll hold a bar mitzvah. And has anybody gotten married or held a bar mitzvah on the inside of that post office today? I don't know. Look into it. But you can also look here on the left side of the